Pie and paragraph formation. This is something that is a very important part of academic writing. It's possible that as you get more advanced, you won't need to rely upon this formula, but it's a good place to start out, and it's a formation that I find myself using all the time in my writing, and it's something that I notice in a lot of other academic writing. So let's get started with pie paragraphs. So PI stands for point, information, explanation. So point being the main idea, the central thing that you're trying to convey. Information would be examples, quotes, statistics, other types of facts, figures, things that demonstrate or really illustrate the idea. So after you've shown this example as well as this idea, you have to kind of do the explanation part. So why is the information important, or how does it exemplify the main idea? So kind of draw it all together, because sometimes that connection between the main idea and the example might not be as clear. And sometimes even if it is, it's just nice to have that like summarized for your reader. So this is pie within paragraphs. So sometimes it's also called P, point example analysis. So, but I'm going to be going with pie. So this can be a little bit confusing and different, or not quite make sense for people from different countries. And one of the people that pointed that out was Kaplan in 1966. So his ideas are a little bit outdated, but I like the idea that he took these drawings and had these sort of visual representation of how writing styles are different. So he took these line figures and had them different for different types of writing and thinking. So but one thing that was problematic is saying, hey, it's his demonstration of English is this straight line. And so he was saying, yeah, English is straightforward. It is the logical one, which isn't quite right. But I still like the idea of these visualizations and showing that they're using different rhetorical strategy, different approaches and techniques to convey their ideas. So this is something I would say that even English speakers kind of struggle with and that analyzing and understanding. So that means if you're coming from a culture where the thinking's completely different, this can be a bit of an adjustment. So let's look at an example of PI, point information explanation. San Diego State University is a wonderful university. That's your point. Your information, they have great classes, a beautiful campus, fantastic teachers, free tutoring centers, lots of academic advisors, and a world-class career center. And then your explanation that kind of ties back your examples to the point is going to be all these resources mean that students receive a really good education that prepares them for the real world and their career after. So you can see the explanation it isn't just repeating the point, and it's not repeating the information. It's tying them together, saying like all these resources. So all the things that you mentioned in the information make San Diego State a wonderful university, that point, and that prepares students for the real world. So that's important. So that shows the importance of the information and why San Diego State is an important university. So that's sort of one easy kind of chunk of a pie formation that you might have within a paragraph, or you could, make that into a whole essay. So I want to look at how pie sort of like repeats itself. Or you can see pie in so many ways in writing. So first, if you're looking at a paragraph, generally like the body paragraph, you can think of these pie units, like these point, information, explanation. You're going to be thinking of, like, I don't know, maybe a slice of pie that is going to make up the parts of your paragraph. So you're going to start out in a paragraph, you're going to have your topic sentence, which is your point, and then you're to sort of demonstrate your point. further explain your point, you're going to have your information, which in a lot of cases, this is how we're going to start out. We're going to have a point, information, explanation, point, information, explanation. So this big chunk of information, these maybe you can think of them as little pie slices, and then you have the explanation that ties all of the information in the middle to the point at the very beginning. So that's how pie works in these body paragraphs. That's how you can structure it, and you can almost kind of highlight some paragraphs and see how they're structured this way. And this just makes a more clean thought process. Especially like your explanation at the end is going to be important, because maybe by the time your reader has got to the end, they can kind of remember what you were talking about at part 2, the second like kind of pie slice, but they won't remember, they might not remember the first pie slice, and they might not like be able to connect, okay, part 2 and part 1 show the overall point I was making the first sentence. So it's nice if you can just kind of tie it all up at the very end with an explanation. Say why these examples are important. All right, so these are the body paragraphs that actually occur in, a giant essay. So you have generally, like, you start out with your 5-paragraph essay. You have a point that's going to be your introduction paragraph. Then you got your information, which is supporting paragraph 1, 2, and 3. And then you have this explanation. So that's going to be your closing paragraph that kind of ties up all of the ideas from the essay. And don't forget that in your each supporting paragraph, you have this pie structure. So you have pie, these 2 points within the paragraph, and then you have the supporting paragraph that's its own pie structure. And that means that you have these 3 supporting paragraphs, you already have all these pies, and then it becomes a whole big pie essay. So if you want to like kind of stretch the metaphor, I guess you get like kind of a pie cake in. I'm not really sure. So the multiple pies all kind of tied together and everything with frosting. And the cake is the transitions. I'm not really sure. If you want to explore that metaphor, please go for it. But otherwise, like, see how this structure kind of plays out in your essay. And if you want to look at an example essay, I can show you kind of where it has that and where this lines up. So that is what I wanted to kind of have you take away today, that this writing, it's an American academic style of writing, possibly Western style of academic of writing, and it's pretty much as American as apple pie. So that's saying American is apple pie. So remember, whenever you have to do that writing, whenever you have to do a very nice, straightforward essay, just remember, be as American as apple pie, with the pie slices, and to make the whole pie paragraph, to make the pie cake an essay. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you learned something today.